Okay, let's get this out of the way now because I know it's going to come up. In my review of Son of God, I mentioned how if a film was based on any other book, be it the works of Tolkien, any of the Harry Potter books, or even the Hunger Games, fans wouldn't be happy with a poor quality adaptation or something that just completely deviates from the source material. And I made that statement because it was only with the Bible that I noticed people were just completely fine with whatever they got just because it was based on the Bible. However, the religious community just chose to prove me wrong in the case of Darren Aronofsky's Noah. So yeah, apparently a lot of people got really angry about the liberties taken by Aronofsky when bringing the story of Noah's Ark to the silver screen for the umpteenth time. I'm not saying that he's done a lot, but it's second to Exodus. Noah's Ark is probably the second most adapted Bible story that has actually been able to appeal to the mainstream, at least based on my experience. So yeah, apparently people in the religious community do get kind of mad when you deviate from the source material when it comes to adapting stories from the Bible. However, what you may also want to consider the fact is that sometimes controversy can help a religious film actually meet mainstream success. Just ask Mel Gibson. Unlike Son of God or even Cecil B. DeMille's The Ten Commandments, Darren Aronofsky gives us a more mythic interpretation of the story of Noah's Ark. And he does take his liberties here and there in an effort to make the film appeal to people beyond the usual demographic of a Bible movie. And while keeping to the core story, what I really liked is that it actually explored the implications, the ramifications, the impacts that all of the events have on the characters, especially Noah. I mean, it's not just a case of, oh yeah, it's Noah's Ark, we were all safe in this boat while the world was reborn. No. They explore the kind of toll of the fact that he literally witnesses millions of people dying in this flood. They explore the kind of toll that this takes on a person. I mean, any normal person in that situation wouldn't be particularly happy if they had to witness that sort of thing. And on top of just exploring the reactions, it goes to some pretty dark places. Darker than I've ever really seen in even most normal Hollywood movies. I mean, let alone a religious film. I mean, yeah, some religious films get kind of dark and almost somewhat gratuitous. I mean, much like Mel Gibson's Passion of the Christ, depending on what side of the fence you sit on, but it's still just a case of with how dark things got in Noah. I was surprised. That said, there were some subplots that could have used some better payoff or at least better execution, as well as some characters being, well, woefully underdeveloped despite their major importance in the story. I mean, especially towards the end of the third act. A lot of the characters that are supposed to be really pivotal for the story to end the way it did, they didn't really get that much development, and it was kind of disappointing. This is also one of those films where the length may get to you after a while. Even with like the time skips and the amount of time it covers, the film slows, not to a halt, but just slows down considerably once the flood actually happened and everyone's quite literally waiting around to find dry land. And although it wasn't completely boring, I did find myself looking at my watch and just constantly thinking, geez, this thing is still going throughout the end of the film, especially the third act, which was the slowest part of the movie in my opinion. When it comes to the technical aspect of the films, while I haven't seen that many films by Darren Aronofsky, I haven't seen The Wrestler, haven't seen Black Swan, but one thing that I could tell is that with the way he shot this, you could tell he was kind of trying to rein in his more artistic side a little bit. He was kind of holding back. Yes, there are some artistic shots and artistic sequences, but they're so few and far between that they feel kind of out of place. When it comes to the visual effects, the environments are actually really well done, but the only thing I had a problem with visual effects wise was the rock angels. I mean, they were kind of caught in a place somewhere between the Ents from the Two Towers and the works of the late Ray Harryhausen. And I don't mean that as a compliment. When you first see the Watchers, that the rock angels are called, their animation is kind of stilted and very jittery, much like you would see in stop motion. And it wasn't so much a case of, oh, it was an homage, it just didn't look that good for the most part, just with how stilted the movements looked. It was kind of unnerving, and I understand they're not supposed to look that good aesthetically, but the animation could have been made a little bit smoother in the earlier parts of the film, because the animation does get really smooth at the start of the third act when the flood is actually happening. That's when the animation on the Watchers is actually really smooth, but when we first are introduced to them, they look kind of weird. Like, the animation, the movement, it just feels kind of like this, where if I had my hand right here and it just very jittery moves up and down like this, that's what it looked like when you first see the Watchers. And That's the one nitpick that I have when it comes to the visual effects in this film. Overall, I'm still not really sure how to feel about this film. I mean, from a purely technical standpoint, it's very well executed. I applaud Aronofsky's ambition with this project and his attempts to kind of create something that's a little more timeless and a little more relatable to the mainstream audience. However, I do concede that it may rub some moviegoers the wrong way in terms of its style. Even if you look past the fact that this is a film based on the Bible and just look at it as a standalone film, there may be some elements to it that people just may not like. As for what kind of audience would best enjoy this film, my best guess is that it's probably best enjoyed by people who are already fans of Darren Aronofsky, as well as those of us moviegoers who want to see a film that kind of treats its audience like an adult. And that's something that a lot of religious movies just aren't good at. They usually, based on my experience with a lot of the religious films I've seen, I mean, I live in Utah, so I've seen quite a few on the various TV stations here, they have the tendency to talk down to their audience. And that's one thing I really liked about this film, is that this film treated its audience like an adult and just presented it and said, hey, this is just a serious story, take it what you will. That said, it's probably best to hedge your bets and see this film at a dollar theater in the event that this isn't really the film for you, but you still want to see it out of curiosity. That said, I give Noah a 4 out of 5. So that's it for this episode of Romney's Reviews. As for next week, I'll be taking a look at Heaven is for Real and Disney's Bears. See you next time.